Now this is question 1 in 2024. So the first question they're talking about here is to give you annual effective rate of interest of 29.9%, and they're going to ask you to work out what the monthly effective rate is. Okay, so again, when you see a percentage, they're going to expect you to put it as a multiplier. So we add it on to 29.9% onto 100. That gives you 129.9%. And then divide that by 100 will give you 1.299. Okay, so that's a decimal equivalent of that percentage above it. Now, obviously, you can just go from there straight to that, the more practice you get. Okay, now that's not your final answer, that's for the year. What we're going to then do is we're then going to say, well, it's a monthly effective rate of interest. So a month is a 12th of a year. And then once we work that out, we're going to take 1 away. And what that will do is that will give you the decimal equivalent of the percentage of a month. Okay, so when you put that in your calculator, you should get something that looks like this. Okay, now again, that's a decimal equivalent. What they're wanting is to get the percentage. So we're going to times it by 100, and that will give you 2.2. Okay, so I'm just rounding it to 1 decimal place. What you'll find is that they will actually give you quite a variation in the marking scheme of different answers that would be acceptable. Okay, and that's certainly the main one. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to use this for the next bit. So this is a loan schedule. You've done a lot of them with spreadsheets, but sometimes I ask you just to work out for a couple of months using by hand. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to work out for the first month. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at the interest. Right, so we'll look at the interest content of repayment and the capital content as well. Okay, and then we'll have a wee look to see what the loan outstanding is, and then we just repeat the same process. Okay, and again, just remember how you worked it out in the spreadsheet. So we're going to take the 2.2% of, okay, because interest content of repayment, well, that is going to be the loan outstanding. We're going to take 2.2% of it. Okay, so 2.2% of 4,000, which we're going to go 0.022, and we're going to times that by 4,000. And what that should give you is £88. Okay, so that's the interest that you paid on the loan. Okay, now you're repaying £250 and the interest is 88. So to actually work out what your capital is, we're then going to go, well, if it's £250 is the total that we're repaying, and we're going to £88 is interest, we're going to take that away, and what you'll find is the capital repayment. So the actual of the loan, you're paying back £162. Okay, now from then we can then work out, well, how much of the loan is still to be paid. So we take the 4,000 and then we're going to take away that 162, and that means we've still got £3,838 to pay back. Okay, now the second part of it, okay, so this is month 2. So the second part, we just repeat the same process. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work out what 2.2% of 3,838. Okay, so we're going to go 2.2% of 3,838. So again, we times that by the decimal, and that's now £84.44. We then take that away from 250, and that will tell you how much better fill that in first. Take that away from 250, and that will tell you how much of the capital we've actually paid off. And what you'll find is the further down you go, you start paying off less interest and paying off more of the actual loan. Okay, so that's £165.56. And then to actually work out how much of the loan outstanding, well, that was 3,838, and then we're going to take away 165.56, and then that's going to give us £3,672.44. Okay, so after 2 months, that's how much of the loan we have back. And that's you. So you're just working the same way as you would in a spreadsheet, but obviously we've not got Excel to do all the work. You're having to actually do the calculations, but again, it's just the same process for each month, and they won't ask you to do much more than 1 or 2 months or 1 or 2 years. Okay.